Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview ahead of our Premier League fixture against West Ham United away from home tomorrow afternoon. Another fixture for Carlo Ancelotti. More devastating injury news. Our bad luck just seems to continue, doesn't it, in terms of injuries. Carlo Ancelotti has had his pre-game press conference this afternoon and he has confirmed that both Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin will miss tomorrow's game through slight injuries that they've both picked up in training. Two, well, definitely one significant player, definitely one player that we will, greatly miss tomorrow. Definitely his goals, his work rate and his output this season. The other obviously hasn't been so good this season, but obviously last season was, one of our highest goal scorers, and we definitely know he can produce out of nowhere. He did it against West Ham at Goodison Park this season, and obviously we're missing both of them again. We seem to be sitting here every week and adding another name to the injury list, don't we? No one seems to be coming back at any quick point, but names just keep adding on to it. Hopefully hopefully it doesn't look too bad. Carlo Ancelotti said that Richarlison's injury definitely is nothing too serious. It's just a little bit of a strain, but he won't be able to play tomorrow. But he's hopeful that he'll be back for Tuesday's game at Goodison Park. However, both are out of tomorrow's game. He did give an injury update on players coming back. He said that Jean-Philippe Gbamin has started today, training with the team, I believe. Andre Gomez, obviously we've seen pictures of Andre Gomez yesterday. He is back at Finch Farm, looking absolutely boss as per usual. He is doing a little bit of, weights and fitness stuff in the gym as per usual before he gets into playing football. So he is back. Alex Iwobi looks to return to action as well at some point in the next couple of weeks. He's slowly getting back to fitness as well. But Everton take on West Ham United tomorrow, a team that seem to look rejuvenated. They look energetic. They look like a changed side under new manager David Moyes. Obviously former Everton manager and former West Ham manager. He's managed there before. Has rejoined West Ham. They're currently sitting in 16th position in the Premier League. Won 6, drawn 4 and lost 11. Had a couple of really, really good wins since David Moyes just took over there, beating Bournemouth and Southampton away as well. Southampton away is a really, really good win. We knew how tough it was to get the 3 points there when we faced them a few weeks back. Really, really good win. And like I said, David Moyes has seemed to have took over a West Ham team that a lot of people would have tipped for relegation. A lot of people couldn't see really getting out of the struggle that they were in under Manuel Pellegrini. They were struggling week in, week out. The players didn't seem to be giving enough effort. The fans weren't involved with the players emotionally, and there was turmoil really. Manuel Pellegrini leaves the club, David Moyes comes back, and I think a lot of West Ham fans had a similar feeling as to that Everton fans would have had if David Moyes had to come back. It was sort of like it's not really a step forward, what happens now, but give him credit where credit's due. David Moyes seems to have stabilised West Ham. He's getting them stable results. He's absolutely shored the defence up, which we knew would always happen regardless of what club David Moyes goes to. That your defence is going to get shored up because that's the type of manager he is, and the attacking players seem to be working for him as well. He's come in and he's started to manage some of the egos, and he's got some results as well. He had a big win against Chelsea early on in the season as well. So West Ham are definitely a team that can hurt Everton. We know in the last, I know records don't mean anything and previous results and previous seasons don't mean anything, but we know in the last couple of seasons we've done well at the Olympic Park, or Olympic Stadium as it's called, since West Ham moved from the bowling ground. We've got some really, really good results under there. Specifically, remember last season's game against West Ham away from home. It was arguably our best performance away from home all season. I think, a lot of people would say it was our best performance away from home all season. A really emphatic, confident and assured win. And I remember Bernard absolutely ripping up West Ham, and he as he often does every time he plays. But West Ham are a team, like I said, under David Moyes now, a little bit like Everton, got a new manager, a resurge of confidence. At home, they're playing well as well. I've got a decent record with David Moyes at home as well since he's come in. So it isn't going to be an easy game for Everton. It really, really isn't going to be an easy game for Everton. We need to turn up, and again, as per usual, like we've been doing in the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, with the message that Carlo Ancelotti seems to be instilling into these players is that they need to go out and they need to be at their very, very best week in, week out. Because we can't afford in the Premier League to just stroll out into a game and expect to win or expect to get the 3 points. We need to be at our very best. Obviously, we've been put back. We've been a step with the likes of Richarlison out injured, who's been a key figure this season. Scored some really, really important goals for Everton. So obviously, it's a massive negative that he's out injured as well as Calvert-Lewin. And like I said, we've spoken about this numerous times over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. It's not necessarily the players out injured. If you look at this situation and you go, right, okay, Richarlison's out injured, he's going to be a big miss because he's on form, he's scoring goals, he's creating opportunities, and you maybe look at Gylfi Sigurdsson and you think, well, okay, Gylfi Sigurdsson mightn't be that big of a miss because he's not performing well and he's not really creating anything. But Gylfi Sigurdsson, whether you like it or not, is still a relatively big miss in terms of coming up against West Ham United tomorrow, playing on Tuesday night as well. Not necessarily because he should be in the starting 11 or he'd be a player in the starting 11 or he's guaranteed to do anything, because this season Gylfi Sigurdsson's been poor, and if he was fit to play I still wouldn't have him in the starting 11 tomorrow. But more to the fact that it's another player injured and another player added to the injury list, and it thins the squad more and more and more. Alex Iwobi, okay, might only be a couple of weeks away from coming back, or maybe even a week away from coming back. Jean-Philippe Gbamin ain't going to be coming back anytime soon. Same with Andre Gomez. So we're going into tomorrow's game we're unlikely to have Alex Iwobi back because he is, probably still not quite fit enough. Without Richarlison, without Gylfi Sigurdsson, you've got obviously Alex Iwobi who's still injured, Gomez. There's just a plethora of players that are out injured and they're currently on our injury list, and it just doesn't make the job any easier, does it? And when you're picking your team to play tomorrow, and when you're predicting your side, and when you're thinking about who's going to start tomorrow, the team pretty much picks itself in this day and age, and in this time of the season. We'll go through my predicted starting 11 in a second, because there's very few players that are fit to play it, at the minute, and even the players that are fit to play, the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously we've seen Richarlison who isn't fit today, but isn't fit for tomorrow, but has been in previous weeks. They've played pretty much, every single minute of the last however many weeks. Mason Holgate, I think, has played every single minute of the last 16 games. Now, Yerry Mina was a massive doubt for tomorrow's game. He was, a couple of days ago, he picked up a little bit of an injury in training, and he was a big doubt for tomorrow. Carlo Ancelotti thankfully confirmed today that he is fit and he will be travelling and he will be ready to play tomorrow, which obviously is really, really good news, because Ancelotti said after the Brighton game that he looks to take Mason Holgate out of this team tomorrow and give Mason Holgate a little bit of a rest, and he likes to rotate the centre backs, and he likes to ensure that each of them get as much rest as possible and as much game time as possible, because he values them at the same level. So if Yerry Mina had been out as well, it'd have been an even bigger knock, because whereas Mason Holgate might have been getting a rest this week, he'd have had to obviously step in and he'd have had to play. But that's obviously that's irrelevant now, because Yerry Mina has been confirmed fit, so he is in my predicted starting 11. Like I said, we'll go through it. But West Ham are an easy team to beat. They're not a team that you'll walk over. Like I said, notoriously in the past, we do quite well away from home against West Ham, especially last season. We don't do well at Goodison Park as well against West Ham. But under the new manager, obviously trying to climb up the table, they need as many points as possible. They're still very much in and around that relegation battle, in and around that relegation fight. If they lose a couple of games, they could be straight back down. They're obviously 16th, so they're not quite out of it yet. They only need teams below them. There's some teams below West Ham that are doing quite well and starting to pick up points, and if West Ham don't start to pick up points fast, then they'll find themselves dragged back into it in a similar position to where they were when Pellegrini was manager, so they need to pick up points as well, so they're going to be going out for the win, and it's important that Everton go out for the win, because I really do think if we manage to get the 3 points tomorrow, not only is it a massive 3 points, not only is it a very, very good win, but is the question of Europe back on. We, like I said, we're only 6 points away from sixth position, with 3 points away from Spurs, I believe. So if we do win tomorrow and we go out there and we put in a good performance, and the teams above us start to drop points and maybe struggle a little bit, obviously Man United are probably a step too far in the ahead, but they're facing Liverpool this weekend, which looks to be a Manchester United defeat, doesn't it, the way things are going recently. So is Europe back on? I think the realistic answer is it is. If we can go out and we can beat sides like Brighton, sides like Burnley, and then like West Ham, if we manage to beat West Ham tomorrow, then it definitely is in the question, because we are literally only a couple of wins and a draw away from being right back up in that top 6, top 7 positions. All we need really is Wolves and Sheffield United to drop a couple of points and have a little bit of a stumble in their season, and us to take advantage of that, and we're right back in there. And it starts tomorrow afternoon for me. If we get a 3 points tomorrow afternoon, and I think we can be really, really positive going forward, despite the injuries and despite obviously some of the issues that we've had this season. We can be really, really positive going forward, because it does look like we could put in a battle for that top 6, but we need to win tomorrow at the end of the day, because again, like I said, West Ham are a side that are going to come out, they're going to want to win themselves, they're going to battle, they're going to fight, because they need as many points as possible. Different situation, obviously 4-5, well not 4-5-6, 2-3 months ago, we were in a similar situation to West Ham where we were hovering around 17th, 16th, and we needed as many points as possible. We got a new manager in, and obviously we started to gain those points. It's very similar with West Ham. They've got a new manager in, they need to start gaining those points as well, but it's important that we stay on focus, and we go out there and get the win for me, because the team I've predicted there, and I think a team that Carlo Ancelotti is likely to put out should be more than good enough to go and get the 3 points. I'm just going to tweet this team out, then I'll dive in the live comments before reading out my predicted starting 11. Chris says, hi, hope you're well. I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. If you're enjoying this team, by the way, so far, everyone, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. Chris also says, my prediction is 1-0 Everton. I hope so, mate. I do hope so. Wayne says, calm lad, yo peeps. How's everyone? I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. How are you? Yourself? Carl says, hello, mate. Never fear, we have Nias. Looks like he's going to be leaving the club, doesn't he? But you know, I probably will be in the match day squad tomorrow, given the injuries that we've got. Chris says, do you think 7th place is still doable for Everton? I do, and I think it'd be a massive achievement considering the start of the season that we've had, and obviously some of the results under Marco Silva. But you know, we need to make sure, if we're going to be looking at 7th, 8th place, any type of European spot, then we need to be winning games like tomorrow's one against West Ham United. Carl says, I have missed Iwobi and Gomez. Me too, mate. Wayne says, if we sign someone, some people can. Carl says, Chris, if results go our way and we win, we'll go 7th. Joel says, prediction, Cam, I'm going to go with 2-1 to Everton. Wayne says, can't see it if we persist with Siggs. Well, Sigurdsson's out injured and Schneiderlin. I'm going to go through my start 11 in a second. Chris says, do you expect a challenge for top 6 next season under Ancelotti? I do. Given that he is backed correctly in the summer and he gets the players that he wants to come in. Mike says, give Keane a chance to thump West Ham. I do think Moise Keane will start. We'll talk about that in a second. Women says, close physical, 2-1 to Everton. I hope so, mate. Carl says, Marco Silva said in Portuguese interview that he still watches us and loves our fans and our passion, and Goodison will always be his home. Well, nothing against Marco Silva personally. Listen, he wasn't good enough to manage Everton Football Club. He wasn't good enough to take us forward. But nothing against him personally. If he's a fan of Everton Football Club, then absolutely fair enough. And I don't think anybody should hold any grudges towards Marco Silva. At the end of the day, he wasn't up for the job, and that was just because he didn't have the skill set or the experience to be up for the job. Nothing against him personally. I don't think he ever disrespected the club in any point at any point. In any fashion, unlike some other previous managers that I've done in the last sort of 5 years. So fair play to Marco Silva. Chris says, both managers know how to set up defensively, so I can see one goal in it. It's a fair point. Wayne says, you would hope so, Chris. Wayne also says, no, come on, Silva. Chris says, no easy games. Where I've just absolutely skipped past it. No easy games in the league for anyone. Spot on, there isn't. Carl says, thing is, West Ham are not like Brighton or Burnley. If we go 1 or 2-0 up, we win. But against Burnley, Brighton, they don't stop fighting till the last second. That's obviously a mentality issue with West Ham. Gord says, hope Richie is 5th for Tuesday, the game that I'm going to. Carlo Ancelotti did say that he is he's hopeful that he'll be ready for Tuesday's game against Newcastle. Obviously, if it's a little injury, if it's a minor injury that he's picked up in the last sort of 2 or 3 days, then it will see him out of tomorrow's game. But hopefully, he can run that off before Tuesday. Chris says, where do you think Everton in the table if VAR decisions went your way? Probably still like 8th or something, to be perfectly honest with you. Don't get me wrong, we've been shafted by VAR loads this season, but I think we've had a number of performances that haven't been good enough in terms of the performance and not necessarily the performance of VAR. William says they have Antonio back, though I think our defenders are slow. They do. However, I think we'll be able to deal with them. W says 3-1 Everton, Bernard, DCL and Keane to score. I hope so, mate. Cal says Chris around 7th and 8th. Cal also says Wemi Mina will bully him. Wemi says Keane will score tomorrow. I hope so. Cal says Keane shouldn't start. Who starts in his place then? Who starts? Do we go with one up front in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or does somebody else partner Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Who starts? Cal, let me know. Wemi says, who? Antonio, don't think anyone bullies that kid. Chris says, good to see Gomes back after horrific injury. It really, really is. Gareth says, sent you a DM, lad. Should I go to the Derby game in March time? Probably don't know what to do. Yes, definitely come. I'll reply to that DM after the stream. Sorry about that. And we'll go through the rest of the live comments in just a second. Anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11. So I've gone for in-goal Jordan Pickford. Again, had a bit of a poor game against Liverpool in the Cup, but I thought he'd done quite well last week against Brighton. Granted, he didn't have an awful lot to do. He made a really, really good save from a Glenn Murray header. And, again, who really comes in. I've gone for a back four of Luca Dean, Michael Keane, Yerry Mina and Jibril Sidibe. Luca Dean obviously coming out after the Brighton game and confirming that he's been struggling with some personal issues recently. I believe he's lost a grandparent. That sort of explains as to why his performances, maybe haven't been as to what we're used to. I fully expect Luca Dean to be in the squad tomorrow. Okay, he might be playing with some injury, but he's played through for quite some time now, so I expect Luca Dean to be at left back. Jibril Sidibe at right back again. Decent game last week. He struggled a couple of times this season, but I think more often than not, he played really, really well. And I just think he edges it over Seamus Coleman for me. Back centre backs of Michael Keane and Yerry Mina, just said earlier on that. Carlo Ancelotti last week said that he looks to give Mason Holgate a rest this week because he played an awful lot of game time and he values all three centre halves as the same. So I've gone for those two at centre back. Moving into the midfield, I've gone for Fabian Delph and Tom Davies in the centre of the park. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti confirming earlier on today that Gylfi Sigurdsson is out injured. I really don't want to see Morgan Schneiderlin in this team because I just don't think he's fast enough whatsoever, even to deal with a West Ham United midfield that isn't really that fast. So I've gone for Fabian Delph and Tom Davies in there. I think, Tom gave a good account of himself last week against Brighton. He struggled in the second half and he struggled at times on the ball, but one thing you can't disagree with is that Tom Davies is constantly working hard. He's constantly putting himself about. He's always making tackles. He's always trying his best. And for me, that is more than what Gylfi Sigurdsson or Morgan Schneiderlin have given us for the last however many months. So Tom Davies and Delph in the midfield. I've gone for wingers of Bernard and Theo Walcott. Again, not much choice here. Bernard was absolutely fantastic in the first half against Brighton. Really, really energetic. Was creating problems for them. Was creating opportunities for us. Was getting about. Okay, he sort of... he faded away in the second half a little bit. Don't know whether that's down to fitness or obviously maybe a little injury. He's only just coming back from an injury that's kept him out for a couple of months, so it's probably just a little bit of a fitness issue. But I've gone for Bernard at left wing. Carlo Ancelotti talking about Bernard today, he said that he was really, really excited watching him last week. He was really impressed with him and he hopes he can do the same tomorrow. So that's any indication that he's going to... If there's an indication that he's going to start, I'd take it as that. Theo Walcott on the other wing, obviously not got much choice. Alex Iwobi still looks a doubt for tomorrow's game. Still doesn't seem to be quite ready. Obviously Richarlison being out injured as well. If there was any chance of him playing on the wing, that's obviously not the case now because he's out injured. So I've gone for Theo Walcott on the other wing, and I've gone for a front two of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Moise Kean. This is Moise Kean's big chance. This is his big chance tomorrow because he hasn't had an awful lot of opportunities this season. I think it's fair to say he hasn't even had an awful lot of opportunities since Carlo Ancelotti's come in. Definitely less than I first thought he would have when Carlo Ancelotti's come in. Obviously he's had some appearances off the bench and he's looked quite exciting, especially since Ancelotti's come in. He seems to be playing with confidence. He seems to be playing with a want, whereas under Marco Silva you could see he was confused. You could see he was struggling, where to be positional wise, and he looked like he was just running around like a bit of a headless chicken for a lot of the games. Whereas now under Carlo Ancelotti, even when he's coming on off the bench, even if it's only for the last 10 to 15 minutes, he looks energetic, he looks exciting, he looks like he wants to play football and he's enjoying himself. And obviously it's a big opportunity for him tomorrow. Richarlison out injured, who would usually be playing up front. Big chance for Moise Kean to partner somebody like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, somebody in Dom that can bring the ball down, that can bully defenders, that can get himself about, that can use his strength and hopefully find the right balls to Moise Kean. And if things go as they should, Moise Kean should only have to run onto a ball then and put it in the back of the net. And for me, the thing is with Moise Kean is he's a goal away, I think, from absolutely exploding in this league. He just needs that extra added confidence boost that he will get when he scores his first Everton goal, and I honestly think he'll start flying. And it is a big opportunity for him tomorrow because Richarlison is likely to be back before Tuesday's game. So if he starts tomorrow and doesn't quite put in the work rate or doesn't quite impress, then it's very likely that he'd be back out before Tuesday for Richarlison. So big opportunity for Moise Kean. I've gone with him partnering Dominic Calvert-Lewin in a usual 4-4-2 formation. Don't get me wrong, Carlo Ancelotti might change it up a bit. He might go with one up front if he doesn't think Moise Kean's ready. But I think this would be a big opportunity for the young striker, and I think it's a big opportunity for Ancelotti to sit down with him and go, listen, this is your chance to get in the team. Now you're being put in through an injury and through a forced change. Let's have it so that on Tuesday night, Carlo Ancelotti's got a decision to make as to whether Moise Kean stays in there or he brings Richarlison in, or in fact Richarlison moves to one of the wings and Moise Kean stays in there. That would be sort of the perfect ideal scenario, wouldn't it? So that's my predicted starting 11. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below, and leave your predicted starting 11s down there as well, and I'll go through as many of them as possible. Cal says I'll play Pickford, Coleman, Mina, Keane, Dean, Sidibe as a right mid, Delph, Davis, Bernard left mid, Walcott and DCL as strikers. Potentially, obviously, Bill Sidibe would also be available to play on the right-hand side of midfield if Carlo Ancelotti prefers that over Theo Walcott. Chris says, what do you think of Braithwaite signing? I'm from Carlisle. I've seen him play. He was Carlisle's best player, but still young and will be developed at U-Lot. Yeah, I think he's a good young player. He's definitely a good young player. He's a player that I think can improve an awful lot. Obviously, a slot into the under-23s, and hopefully the aim for him is for him to then develop into a Premier League player in the next 18 months to 2 years. He's like you said there, he was I think probably head and shoulders the best player at Carlisle. Really, really good. Got a lot of potential. Got a lot of youth on his hands as well. So I think we've got a good young player on our hands. We just need to monitor his development and make sure he progresses in the right manner. Gareth says I have a bad feeling for this weekend. I hope not, mate. I hope not. Cal says Braithwaite wasn't Carlisle's best player at all. Fair enough. Cal there already with the argument. That is right, Cal. Who was Carlisle's best player, Cal? Where he says, never know what our team is going to do through, though so inconsistent. It is, but I think it's been quite consistent against Liverpool. Not against Liverpool. I think it's been quite consistent. Well, it has been quite consistent against Liverpool, hasn't it? Let's be honest, we always get beat. That's the consistency. But I think it has been quite consistent since Carlo Ancelotti's come in, obviously only losing a couple of games. That derby disaster and the game against Manchester City, which, the away from home against Manchester City, to lose by only 1 goal isn't the worst in the world. Gareth says Chris is only 17. Wormy says hit like, peeps, support the channel. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you could hit the like button, it'd mean a massive amount to me. It only takes a second. And if you're new to the channel as well, please do subscribe. Where are we? Chris says anyone can finish 6th or 7th. It's doable for you. It is, I agree. Carl says why are Watford playing like Barcelona at the minute? Again, new manager, new resurgence, new confidence, new ideas, new tactics. That's just what happens to teams, isn't it? Where he says youth signings, who knows? We will see when we sell him to Fulham in 5 years. Chris says he was Cal IMO. Where he says is Richie injured? He is. He's got a slight knee injury. Carlo Ancelotti confirmed today that Richarlison was injured in training this week, and he will be out of tomorrow's game against West Ham. However, he is hopeful that he'll be back before Tuesday's game against Newcastle. 1870 says like to smell Dunk's boots. There you go. And hit the like. Yeah, if you could have done like, it mean a massive amount to me. Cal says if we get 8th and Wolves win Europa League, we get Europe. We do, but it's a long stretch to expect Wolves to win the Europa League. Remy says all of Europe dips on Italy. Carl says Marco Silva had potential, but things fell apart. He did. Remy says I questioned everything Silva did tactically, and lunatic sub was made too late. Poor starting pick. Sigurdsson captain, never playing the youth. There you go, there's just a couple of reasons. Simon says Keane should 100% start. I agree, and I think he will. Me, myself, and I says the fastest talker on any fan channel. Don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there you go, thank you. Carl says if Gabama never got injured, would things have been so bad? We have missed the CDM. We don't know, do we? Because we don't really know how good Gabama is, or how well Gabama would have settled in and done this season. So, would have definitely been stronger, obviously, because would have been one player, fitter than we have now, and obviously he's a new signing, so he'd have given us something that we're not used to, and that's new. But we can't really say whether we'd be better or worse off, because we don't really know how Gabama plays. We've only seen him for a brief spell in a couple of games at the start of the season. Williams says, don't know, Cal, what Gabama is like. I heard he might be better as a centre-back, and Cal says, I watch Gabama in the Bundesliga, his position is awful at centre-back. Gareth says, personally, I hate derby games, so I refuse to go every time I get offered the chance to go, but my friend who's a Celtic fan hates Liverpool and wants to experience Goodison, so fuck it, why not go? There you go, spot on. Williams says, hit like if you want Cam to talk a bit faster, or slower. Cal says Walcott has been fire under Carlo. Yeah, he's played well in spells. I think the problem is with Theo Walcott is he does play well in spells. Again, a little bit like Everton, he's too inconsistent for me. He needs to get a consistent run of performances on where he's playing consistently well week in, week out. For me, Theo Walcott has a fantastic 90 minutes one week, and then the next week is absent. Wayne says, I love Moise Keane, going to be a great player, I think. Carl says it must be down to Keane's attitude, considering the 3 managers haven't used him, potentially. Gareth says, don't expect anything from Keane this season, all about next season for him, I agree. 1878 just hit the like button, it helps the channel out, thank you very much, it certainly does. Wayne said, we haven't, as a team, created situations where Keane could be integrated properly. Fair point. Gareth said, no, Walcott's still wank. At Brighton, he was so wasteful again. Like I said, good, a good week one week and a poor week the next week. Mark says, Silva was out of his depth with us with Ancelotti at the helm. I've got more confidence in our future. Me too. Good work, Cam. He also says, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Joel says, I believe Keane's going to score tomorrow. I hope so, Joel. Carl says, he was literally our second best player against Brighton for the first half against Liverpool. He played well. Tom said, good team selection, but did we have anyone left? We can't catch a break. Exactly. There's not much. There's not many players to pick. Is there really? It sort of picks itself unless you want to put Schneiderlin in there, which I don't think he will, or keep Holgate in there, which I don't think he will because he said Holgate's going to get a rest. So there's not much choices. There really. William says Walcott is garbage. That pass at the end of the Liverpool game sums Walcott up. He was poor in the second half against Liverpool. I'll give you that. Gareth says I agree with that start 11. Whole fans get behind Delph if he starts. We need to get behind everybody. Carl says Walcott has been good since Silva went. Walcott plays better as a striker. Out of 100 goals, he scored like 58 as a striker. That's an interesting stat. I didn't know that. Wimmy says, yep, if nothing else, we're consistent against Liverpool. We are. Everton interview says, that is what's needed. Still confident of a victory. Me too, mate. Carl says, he actually deserves a statue. Oh, he does. 1878 says, Bootle or Litherland or not a scream. Pick one, Cam. Not a scream, because I live closest to it, probably. As fast as talking on Merseyside. JP says, Cam, Moise Keane caught filming on the motorway. How will this play out in relation to tomorrow's game? Yeah. And I can see a couple of people saying it was a dash cam. I don't know whether it was. I don't think it. I don't know. Listen, I think it, personal view, I think it was a mobile phone, and I think he's very, very silly to do it. It's very, very dangerous. He could have not only harmed himself, but he could have harmed somebody else. It's a mistake that he won't make again because he'll have been sat down by the likes of Marcel Brands and Carlo Ancelotti and told that he shouldn't be making those mistakes and he shouldn't be doing that because at the end of the day, it's against the law. I've seen a couple of people say it's an Apple Watch. I don't think it is because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware, you can't film on Apple Watches. And a few other people saying it's a dash cam, which again, it could be. But I think he flips the camera at one point when it's facing the steering wheel. I think he flips the camera and it has that like half a second pause that phones do when you flip the camera to then go back to his face. So personally, I think it was a mobile phone, if I'm being honest with you, and I think he's very, very silly to do it. He was pictured, yesterday in training doing a load of keepy-ups and having a belt of time. So hopefully he's being sat down. He's being told off by the club. He's being told off by Ancelotti and said, you can't be doing that. Don't be doing that. Maybe a little fine or something. But it shouldn't really play much in relation to tomorrow's game, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. It's got, very little to do with his football. It's very little to do with tomorrow. So hopefully, like I said, that issue's been squashed. It's been sorted. He's been sat down and he's been told that if it was a mobile phone and if he was using a mobile phone, then that is, highly illegal and very, very silly and he shouldn't do it. Chris says, when Everton moving into the new stadium, hopefully within the next 3 years. Cal says, hopefully never goes to our home. No, we don't want that, Cal. We need to move into the new stadium. Wimmy says it was a dash cam, JP. Eugene says 3 points tomorrow afternoon against West Ham. I hope so. Chris says, I can see why you don't want a Cal. It's affected West Ham. Could say Tottenham too. You could definitely. Wimmy says, a dash cam straight face. Cal says, being impressed with Holgate lately. My man of the match against Brighton, in my opinion, better centre-back than Mina. Me too, I have as well. I don't know whether he's a better centre-back than Mina, but he definitely looks more assured at times. Wimmy says, all that will be too Cam if Cam. Wimmy says, don't ever let Cam be your lawyer, but do hit the like. Yeah, I'm just giving it a lot. Listen, if the club said it, if it was a dash cam, it was a dash cam, but I just don't think it was. But it doesn't. It's done and dusted now, and I dare say he's had a meeting about it, and it's gone under the radar as it should be. It shouldn't be public. The meeting shouldn't be publicised, and Sky Sports shouldn't be reporting meeting currently underway with Everton and Moise Keane about video. It should have gone, it's private, and he should have been pulled aside and told he shouldn't be doing it, and resolved it in that way. And any repercussions that come from doing it, fines, etc., whatever, then he'll have to deal with that, won't he? Carl says, having Karlo and Usmanov come in links to Carrasco and Rabiot. Honestly, I can't contain myself. Cam would grass me up for my opinions on Moise Keane. Jay's boss, Everton, Soares is on his way. Yeah, Carlo Ancelotti did mention him today. He said he doesn't want to talk about players that aren't current Everton players. You know, he only wants to talk about the current squad. We have been heavily linked with him. He said he's been flirting on Instagram with Everton and flirting on Instagram with Richarlison, but we've seen that, you know, by players before. There's a lot that goes into a transfer, not just a couple of Instagram comments. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Carl says, yeah, even when Goodison smells old and falling apart, it's our home. It is our home. Christian says, West Ham 1, Everton 3. I hope so, mate. Eden 78 has played at Goodison. It's really bad the other year. I'd love to play at Goodison, I would. And Christian says, go. Yeah. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe as well. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, straight after the game for the instant match reaction. It'll be up instantly, as is the name. A big game for Everton tomorrow. Big chance to not only get a good solid 3 points, but, you know, climb closer to that European battle and to be right in the mix there, to, you know, be challenging for the European places, which is quite an achievement considering, you know, it was only 2-3 months ago that we were you know, we were looking like we could be in a relegation battle. So hopefully we managed to get the 3 points. I do believe that we will. I'm very confident in Carlo Ancelotti, and I'm very confident in the side, despite the fact that it's added a couple of more injuries to it, with Richarlison and Gylfi-Sigurdsson being out. So anyway, that's going to do it today. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Carl says Everton at Everton. There you go. Chris says Anfield is your home. I was in the old days until we took it away from you. So now you only exist. We only exist because of you lot. That's true, Chris. Carl says, okay, new stadium should be called the Law. Whammy says, easy peeps, can have a good night, fella. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate that. Chris says, take care, everyone. Great fans and channel. Thank you very much, Chris. Really do appreciate that. Mike says, what car was Keane driving? A Corset? We don't know, but it looked quite big. So I assume probably a Range Rover that he's being given by the club. Gareth says, later, lad, later, Gareth. Thank you very much for getting involved. Thanks to Chris and Whammy as well for getting involved. Whammy says, hit the like, support the channel. Thank you very much, Whammy. Really do appreciate that. Jay's boss says, in a big kid. See you later, Jay. Thanks for getting involved. Carl says, Liverpool are a hot off-spawn. Eric says, we ain't beating West Ham without Richarlison. Fair point, we'll have to see. William says, hashtag dashcam. Carl says, bye, Mr. Cam, have a good night. Thank you very much, Carl, really appreciate it. And 1870 says, Cam, we play quite a few times. Next time I'll get a hold of you. Don't have Twitter, but I'll get on you. Yeah, like I said, even if you make Twitter, it only takes 2 seconds, but, you know, if you're ever at the match, if you ever see me, definitely come up and say hi, and we'll have a conversation, and maybe put a smiley face. Anyway, that's going to do it today. Big thanks for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll be back tomorrow for the instant match reaction. Big game, big chance for the win. Up the toffees. Come on, you Blues. Let's go and get the 3 points. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.